Welcome to Inspired Living with Marc and Kim. Every Wednesday, Marc and Kim, along with their special guests, will explore thought-provoking topics and ideas that promote creativity, self-help, healing, happiness, and well-being to inspire you on your spiritual journey. Each week, Marc and Kim will discuss different paths to achieving a more spiritual, balanced, happy, and healthy lifestyle. Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience, and all things spiritual. Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. Marc and Kim are tested, certified, and professional spiritual mediums, metaphysical teachers, healers, and spiritual advisors with their own individual spiritual practices in Seattle, Washington, and Los Angeles, California. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
And good afternoon and welcome to Inspired Living with Marc and Kim. Wherever you are in the world today, welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm Kim Thalken, founder of Love First, where life transformations happen, and calling in from Encino, California, and reminding you to always come from a place of love. You'll be much happier, and when we're happy, life just gets easier and easier and easier. So today it's 86 degrees in Encino, California, and that feels like a cold front compared to the weather we've been having out here. So it's a nice, cool day for us. I hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are. Usually joining me today on every Wednesday is my partner and co-host, Mark Lanehart, the intuitive prospector, but Mark is not able to be with us today. So Mark, if you're listening, you will be, and you are already missed. We can't wait to have you back next week. We want to remind our inspired listeners to follow us on social media, where you can find us on Facebook under Inspired Living Radio. You can also find us on Twitter and Google Plus and Instagram under Inspired for Us. That's Inspired, the number 4 and Us. If you have questions for us that you'd like to have addressed on air, send them through on Facebook and Twitter. We're always checking our pages during the week. We love to get to know our community of listeners, and we also check it during the show. So as questions come up, send them through. We've already had a tremendous response come in from our community over this last week for today's guest, Renée Starr. We are so excited about this. We've got a great show ahead of us. As I said, our talented guest, Renée Starr, will be joining us, and she's going to be talking about the important subject of chakras and relationships. And as we all know, relationships play a pretty important part in our lives. I mean, let's face it, relationships can make us happy, they can make us excited, they can make us hopeful, they can also make us a little sad, upset, hurt, frustrated. I mean, they pretty much touch on every emotion to be felt. So we have a lot of really interesting information to talk through today, and I know our guest is going to be giving us some great tips on how to bring forth and how to have better, healthier relationships that are more in balance and in harmony. And who doesn't want that balance and harmony in life? And when our relationships are great, life feels good too, right? So Renée she has also graciously extended an exclusive offer for our inspired listeners only. How exciting is that? Which we're going to talk about a little later in the show. Renée is going to walk us through what this offer is, and also some special announcements that she has for inspired listeners that choose to work with her as well. So if you're having issues in a relationship, or you have a beautiful relationship already, but you just would like to make it even better than what it is, but want to know how, send through your questions on Facebook and Twitter, and Renée can walk through important next steps for you to take. Without further delay, I am so excited to introduce Renée Starr. She is a very talented hypnotherapist. I know for myself, I've done sessions with her. She's a mythologist and a life coach. She's also a seeker of ancient goddess and lunar wisdom. Wow, that just sounds so warm and inviting and fabulous for modern women. And she offers classes, workshops, and goddess circles, as well as a variety of women's retreats through her branded movement, Back to the Goddess. Her passion is to assist women everywhere to awaken their sacredness, their inner goddess self, and rekindle a relationship with the divine feminine. She has her own line of herbal ritual and goddess products, and she also has an upcoming book, You Are Woman, You Are Divine, published by Over and Above Creative Group, and is scheduled to be released September 23rd, 2015, next month, actually in a couple of weeks. You can find Renée at backtothegoddess.com for more information. Renée, welcome to our show, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Kim. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, so we've got some important topics that we're going to be covering. I know a lot of people are anxiously awaiting to learn more about how they can use their chakras and understand and build better relationships. Renée, you have such a diverse background. I mean, as a hypnotherapist, a mythologist, a life coach. I mean, you're an author, you're a teacher, you hold events and workshops. There's a lot that you're doing. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do as a hypnotherapist and a life coach and what it means to be a mythologist.
Wonderful. Yes, I have been doing this work as a life coach and as a hypnotherapist for the last 15 years. It's been one of the greatest joys of my life to assist others to live a better life and feel better about themselves and their relationships. And I found this when I was a very young child. I noticed that I was able to see energy and sense energy, and it allowed me, as I grew, to make my own way through the world and find ways to be in better relationships as well. So it helps me to help others that way.
Yes, and one of the things that we didn't talk about, you're quite intuitive too, and so that is such a nice element that you add to the work that you do and the work that I've done with you. For our listening audience here, I have taken a few classes with Renée, particularly in the area of metaphysical hypnosis, which is just such a fascinating part of hypnotherapy. I mean, it's really kind of unbelievable the ways in which hypnotherapy can be used outside of maybe the traditional ways that people think, as it relates to weight loss and smoking and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you do a lot of work in hypnotherapy. Do you have a specialty or an area of focus in the work that you do?
I'm very much in love with metaphysical hypnosis. I find that the subconscious mind is an incredible conduit to cosmic consciousness. And when we connect on that level to something that is so much greater than we are, it doesn't diminish our presence in the world. It actually elevates it. It helps us to connect on much more subtle levels of energy, and we can feel so much better about being human, about being here. It's sometimes very difficult for people to maneuver through the human realm, and without that connection, that tether to spiritual cosmic consciousness, it's very difficult.
Yes, and one of the things that I find just amazing in each session, because each session is so unique in and of itself, is that people don't realize the amount of information and wisdom that they can have access to through hypnosis, right?
Absolutely. The subconscious mind is simply a treasure trove. It is my favorite place to play. It's wonderful to go in and find all the amazing bits of information. It's a very timeless place. The subconscious mind does not pay attention to time. It is not aware of time. So it's able to collect and store vast amounts of information, not just from this lifetime, but from other lifetimes, from other realms. And so when you tap into that, you do receive a rich bit of information about your own life, your own existence here.
Yeah, sometimes clients come to me because, I do psychic readings or intuitive consulting, and they come with questions. And a lot of times I have that conversation with them, suggesting metaphysical hypnosis. How about
Hmm.
accessing that information for yourself, and how powerful and empowering, I should say, that really is. So you don't have to go to somebody else. You can actually access it yourself.
Absolutely. And that is my favorite thing to teach whenever I teach students and whenever I'm working with clients is that you are your own best teacher. You are your own best healer and your own best counselor and guide. And that is something that many people could use in their lives and don't
Mm-hmm.
know. And that's why that's one of my favorite areas to impress with and impart hypnosis.
Well, now you do a lot of work with life coaching as well. So tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about that, and also what a mythologist. That's intriguing.
It's very interesting to me too. And when I discovered that I was a mythologist, I could not have been happier. I'll first talk about the hypnosis or the life coaching rather. Life coaching came about through my tarot reading and my clairvoyant readings. I found that people wanted to come back more than once or twice a month, more than once or twice a year. And I realized that I wasn't able to provide intuitive clairvoyant information every single week. There isn't a reading that you can give every single week, but that what they were
Right.
really looking for was advice, guidance, um, basically support. And to offer that from the intuitive platform was very, very wonderful. And it also accelerates the path and the healing. Traditional therapy, which I consider myself uh, an adjunct therapy or an adjunct support, allows them to go even deeper and move even faster.
Great. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Looking for inspiration?
Want to be inspired?
Not sure where to go?
Find Marc and Kim every Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Inspired Living.
Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience and all things spiritual.
Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth Radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
The future of internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
And welcome back, inspired listeners. Thank you for being with us on Inspired Living as we talk to our guest today, Renée Starr, hypnotherapist, mythologist, life coach, and author. If you're interested in learning more about Renée and her work, you can find her at backtothegoddess.com. So Renée, before we took our break there, which came up very quickly,
Yes.
You were talking a little bit about life coaching and what it means to be a mythologist.
Yes. A mythologist is someone who not only studies and researches, but also adapts and brings forth the mythology, our mythic history, into the world. And mythic history is the oral traditions, the stories that we have been told throughout the millennia. There is an awful lot of information and teaching in these stories, and they've survived, but they are a little passé. So they've gone by the wayside. We have television, we have radio, we have technology, and we have books. And so the oral traditions have really gone over to the side, and a mythologist is very interested in reviving that. And today I have found that while it's beautiful to tell a myth, it is also extraordinarily beautiful to write a myth and present that. And that is what I'm doing, is seeking, searching, researching, and adapting the ancient feminine stories, the goddess myths, and bringing them back. These are women's stories, and they're very empowering and very beautiful.
So you have a special focus, it feels like, in your work of understanding and teaching ancient goddess and lunar wisdom. And of course, you've got your book coming out next month, and you'll be back to share with us all of what is inside your book and all that we can learn from it. Help us understand what ancient goddess and lunar wisdom is about, and how can it help women, and can men use it too? Is it good for men as well?
Absolutely. If a man understands the goddess, he understands the goddess within women. And then he understands women a little bit more.
Whoa.
I know. We are a vast and mysterious entity.
Yes, yes.
Volumes have been written on us, and we still don't know all of it. It's a very beautiful tradition and a very beautiful history that we have as women. The goddess culture is something that was present in the world long before the Judeo-Christian culture and the Judeo-Christian religions came forth. And the goddess was an earth-based religion, an earth-based spirituality, very much in tune with the cycles of the planets, the earth, nature, and the moon. The cycles of the moon are very much related to women, so that's a very powerful aspect of it as well. And the goddess spirituality is all about inclusivity and balance, so she includes the masculine energy, whereas patriarchal spirituality, religion, and even worldly leadership is very much simply about the masculine. Mm-hmm. The divine feminine wants the inclusion of both. She does not see it and does not wish it to be a simple one-sided event. It's very much both.
Well, that feels right, considering how nurturing, women are inherently, right? We are all inclusive, typically.
We are. Our energy speaks to that as well. Our energy is, very drawing in. We draw in essence and energy towards us. And so that is a very powerful element to women.
Now, you offer classes on this, because it feels like there's a lot to learn with just what you had just said. I mean, there's a lot behind that, it feels like. But I know you offer classes, workshops, and women's retreats. Now, I'm sure you've captivated a few men listening to the show today, too, with the notion of being able to understand women better.
I've had many men ask if they can read my book, which is specifically targeted towards women. But I've answered, yes, read it, learn all about us. You'll feel much better.
Yeah, well, gosh, I mean, there's a lot, as a woman myself, I feel like there's a lot to learn about myself. I'm still trying to figure me out.
There is. And Kim, when I wrote the book, which took me much longer than I ever imagined, and when I completed it, I realized this is my life's work that I put into this book. I could have written it, 3 times the size. It would never have been finished. It's an ongoing informational stream. There is always more to learn about this. It is a deep, deep pool of information.
Now, in your studies or your understanding of, female energy and the goddess energy, are we as complicated as we're described to be sometimes, or is that just...
I believe complicated is the wrong term, and I think it's a fallback to just not being understood. I believe that women's energy and essence is mysterious because it's so hidden and so inward. So therefore, it's very confusing to the outside, world looking in and trying to figure it out. Whereas men's energy and essence is very much on the surface. And both of our biologies speak to this. Women's biology is very internal and very within. So it's very hidden and mysterious. And men's biology is very external and very apparent. So it's easy to understand. And I think that causes the misperception that we are very complicated.
Well, I certainly like the description of mystique versus complicated. It's a better way to...
I'm going with that one.
Yeah, me too. So do you have any upcoming events or classes or workshops that our listeners can for your students, or if they're interested in learning more about that, how should they do that?
Yes, the best way to do that is to sign up on my website with your email address, and it's backtothegoddess.com. When you sign up, you will receive a free gift of my ebook, Lunar Wisdom, which is a beautifully written book and presented on all kinds of ways that women can work with the moon. And men have actually downloaded the book as well, and they find it very useful too. Anyone can work with the moon. Women are specifically attuned to it because of our hormonal relationship to it. But yes, there are classes, events, and all kinds of wonderful things happening. Towards the end of September, I will be touring Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, Long Beach, Ojai, surrounding areas at bookstores, doing signings and small presentations. I'll also be hosting very special exclusive events for people who have bought the book. The book will be your ticket. The only way to find out about it is to join my email list. I'll also be having lots of retreats, women's retreats and workshops coming up towards the end of the year and, of course, all next year.
Wow, that is so exciting, Renee. You're just going to be all over the place.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds great. And for our listeners, you can find Renee at backtothegoddess.com. You can also find her on Pinterest at To The Goddess, and then Instagram and Facebook at Back to the Goddess. So make sure that you seek her out on all of these social media platforms. Renee, you've got an exclusive offer that you were so gracious enough to make available to our listeners only the Inspire listeners tuning into our show. If you'd like to talk to them a little bit about what this offer is, and also as it relates to your services, since we've touched a little bit about what you do and how you work with people, that would be great.
Yes, I'm happy to. I am offering right now a very limited supply of very special signed copies of my book, You Are Woman, You Are Divine, along with a very special edition of handcrafted goddess anointing oil and a limited edition bookmark. There are only 100 of these, and many have gone so far. There's a few left, and it's only available until the end of September. I'm sorry, the end of August, this very special offer. August 31st, this offer ends. And the anointing oil and book will be placed on a talismanic grid with crystals, rose petals, other magical items from the full moon until the dark moon. And then I'll recite special invocations and prayers, meditate, and bring forth a very personal message for each book, each purchaser from the goddess that will be inscribed in gold ink inside of their book. And in addition to all of that, Om Radio listeners will receive a very special gift of a free sacred chakra meditation MP3 called The Goddess of the Heart. And that's a $9.95 value. And once it's released at the end of September, they'll receive that via email.
My goodness, you sure do have a lot of great things that are packaged nicely together for our listeners between the MP3 and the book and the special channeled message for each, customized for each person. That is wonderful. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, and it's one of my favorite things to do, and the goddess comes through that way. It's very beautiful.
And so that type of ritual that you were just describing, it sounds like is a type of ritual that might be found in the book too, and how to work with the moon
Absolutely.
to bring about or bring forth certain things in life. Is that the right way to understand it?
Yes. Yes, not only that, not only things in life, but to work with lunar essence, to work with lunar energy is to align to a cyclical rhythm of expansion and contraction, gathering and release. And when women most especially work with this, they find their lives aligning in a harmony that is just dreamed of. When I began to align my own energy and my own life and my own activities to the moon, everything happened more harmoniously. And I know the topic of our show today is chakras and relationships. Even that was affected. All of my energetic systems aligned lunarly, and that made everything so much easier.
Yeah, life is, whenever we're in alignment, that certainly does make things a lot, it helps us to walk our path with greater ease. So anytime we can bring in harmony and ease into our lives, that is, who doesn't want that, right?
Everyone wants that. Yeah.
Yes. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the theme of today's show, which, as we've mentioned earlier, chakras and relationships. We're also, I just want to make a quick note, going to be heading into break in about a minute. So as the music comes on, we'll be going into break. Stay with us for 2 minutes and we'll be back continuing this very interesting topic of conversation. But there's so much to be said really about both chakras and relationships, especially with as it relates, I should say, to relationships. As I mentioned earlier, I do a lot of readings, and I would have to say a big portion of the readings that I do center around relationships because they're just so important to us. So what are chakras? Let's start there. What are chakras?
That's a very good question, and most people have heard of them today. It's a very common word.
Hold that thought, Renee. We're going to head into
Okay.
break. We'll be back in 2.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
If you remember living fearlessly, joyfully, and in a world filled with adventure, happiness, pleasure, and unbridled living, then this show is for you. Join me, Dame Nicole Brandon, as I bring you the world's top experts in wealth, creativity, flow, seat-edging technology, space, wellness, health, love, lust, and passion, all merging together each week here at the Hub of Happiness. Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Passionate Living, where you can ride on the magic carpet ride of living and learn how to lead a passionately wild, exciting, and outrageously amazing life.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram at Joy of Business or Twitter at Joy of Business, and share your pictures with hashtags BusinessDoneWhere and Joy of Business. Let's change the world with business.
Dr. Kevin here, and I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
And welcome back, inspired listeners. It's been a fascinating conversation with our lovely guest, Renée Starr, as we better understand our chakras and how they affect our relationships. We're just delving into that now. We want to remind our listeners to keep in touch with us on social media. Send through your thoughts or questions. We would love to hear from you. Introduce yourself. And you can find me at lovefirst.info, .info, and Mark Lanehart at marklanehart.com. I just received a message from Mark. He is listening in. He wishes he could be with us. He's giving a big shout out to Eric in Spokane. So Eric, thank you for tuning in and being an inspired listener. Renée, thank you again for your time today and sharing all of your lovely wisdom with us on chakras and relationships. So before the break, you were touching on what chakras are.
Yes, and they are a pretty common word these days. Ever since the New Age movement blasted us many years ago, it came on the scene, and everyone was now aware of these energy centers within our body. But they are a very ancient system that was made aware, or that was discovered actually by one of the oldest written traditions in India called the Vedas, which came from one of the oldest oral traditions. The original meaning of the word chakra is wheel, which refers to the sun and its radiance, which appeared to the ancients as a rotating disk in the sky with rays of energy, exploding out of it. And that's what the chakras look like to those that can see them. I've seen them once, and it was the most magnificent experience. It happened during a session that I was doing energy work with a client, and suddenly I saw a chakra, and I was transfixed. It was the most amazing thing. It is like a little sun with radiating rays of energy coming out of it. Very beautiful. The word also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that word also means the eternal wheel of time, and that represents celestial order and balance. And the chakras are actually a microcosm representation of the macrocosm. So as above, so below. Our energy system mirrors the celestial system of order and balance. So when we're out of balance, the universe is out of balance. When the universe is out of balance, we are out of balance. Our goal is to balance and harmonize our energy system to align with the celestial cosmic energy system.
So as chakras that are imbalanced are said to have this vibrating, beautiful, vibrant color to it.
Mm-hmm.
That is emanating.
Mm-hmm.
And they have different colors associated with them, which I know
Yes.
you'll talk about that. What happens when a chakra is imbalanced? What does that do to the color?
The color can become muddied or dulled, just like with the auric field. When the auric field is compromised, it becomes muddied or dull. And when that happens, you'll feel dull and muddied. You'll feel a little lethargic. You'll feel a little pokey. You don't have the vibrance that you normally have. You feel sluggish. And that begins to also affect the associated organs that are connected to the chakral energy.
Right. Okay. And so you had mentioned earlier that you were able to see a chakra through a session, which is beautiful. I'd just like to add to that too, was when I started doing energy healing, work with people, that I was also able to see, but I don't see it with my eyes. I see it more in my mind's eye if I look at somebody's energy field. And, for those of you out there who are interested in improving your intuitive abilities or being able to see these kinds of things more clearly, I, based on both Renée's experience and also mine, energy healing is a great way to become more in tune with that. I truly believe.
I agree with you 100%. And not only in tune, but attuned. You actually begin to vibrate along with the subtle energy field.
That's right. So we've got, I know, thousands of chakras, right? But there are main chakras that are more prominent in our energy field.
Yes, there are 7 major chakras, and then there are thousands of minor chakras. And interestingly enough, we can actually recognize the chakral system through modern physiology, which actually shows that the 7 major chakras correspond exactly to the 7 main nerve ganglia, which emanate from the spinal column. When I discovered that, I found that to be the most fascinating proof and the most fascinating reason to continue working with them.
And what would you go through with us what those main chakras are and what they correlate to and where they are in the body?
Yes, I would be happy to. And they correlate to so many things. We'll touch on just a few of them, but we'll begin with the crown or 7th chakra. I always like to start at the top because even talking about them, you don't want to start at the bottom and work your way up, or everyone will become very ungrounded and unfocused because you'll be having a little bit of a minor out-of-body experience. So even when we talk about them, I like to start at the top, work our way down.
Mm-hmm.
So 7th chakra is your crown chakra associated with the color violet. It is also associated with the element of thought. The sense, it has no sense because it's beyond senses. And you can relate to it with food, with fasting. The crown chakra is related to fasting. Crystals associated with it are diamond, amethyst, clear quartz. I have found all clear crystals are associated here. Essential oils that are wonderful to work with the crown are myrrh and frankincense. It's very beautiful. The malfunctions you'll notice when you have a crown chakra imbalance are Alzheimer's. You could have confusion, spaciness, over-intellectualism, depression, learning disabilities can all be a part of a crown chakra malfunction. You also have the associations are the thought processes, the way you think and your mind. And the mind beyond the mind, the cosmic mind. The next chakra is the 6th, which is, and by the way, the 7th chakra or the crown chakra is neither male nor female. It is unified. The 6th chakra is a feminine essence, and its color is indigo. It is located at the brow, and the crown is located above the head. The 6th chakra is the brow, the third eye, and its element is light. You can look at food, relationships with this as beauty, the visual beauty of food. So that's what's associated with this one. Stones are opal, lapis lazuli, malachite, anything that's deeply and beautifully blue, indigo, almost going from the greens to the turquoise to the indigos, but you want the deepest indigo color.
So if you're looking to strengthen, let's say, your third eye, then working with these particular stones is what you would want to do. Okay.
Not only strengthen, but anytime you're working with herbs, food, stones, even intention, affirmation, they will not only strengthen, they'll balance and harmonize. So that's very important. So, and you'll know when sometimes I notice with malfunctions or imbalances, you'll have vision problems, migraines, nightmares. You could have sinus issues, lack of intuition. That all goes with the third eye imbalance. So those can all be affected when you work with stones, herbs, foods, and intention and affirmation.
Great.
And then we move to the 5th chakra, which is a masculine essence. Its color is blue. I like to say that this is azure blue, which is the color of the sky, the color of the ocean reflecting the sky. It's quite beautiful. Its element is sound. And we can also look at the essential oils. We work with blue chamomile here. We also work with all blue essential oils. Sometimes the eucalyptuses can get into the blues, and blue cedar. Beautiful blue essential oils are very good for this. Let's see, we could look at stones of celestine, turquoise, my favorite to work with. Sodalite are also very good. Mm-hmm. When you are looking at an imbalance of this, you have thyroid, hearing problems, teeth and gum issues. You can have stiff neck or shoulders. You can even feel lack of purpose and fear, or fear and also intimidation of speaking. Mm-hmm. I notice when I become very, very emotionally overwhelmed, I will misspeak. I will say things I wouldn't normally say, or I will be unable to speak. I'll actually start choking. Mm-hmm. So, and that happens to many people. It's very powerful. Public speakers have excellent, healthy fifth chakras.
Right. They would need to, right?
They would. Yes. I remember the first time I did a public speaking engagement. It was a small crowd, but I was so nervous. I actually felt like someone was gripping my throat. And when I visualized their hand releasing my throat, all the information came forth in such a beautiful, easy way. And I still use that. I still use that visualization whenever I'm nervous about speaking.
So there are quick tools that I know we're going to be going through later in the show that we can use to help work with the chakras through visualizations and things like what you had just described. That's great.
Absolutely. So then we have the heart chakra. Its color is green. It is located at the heart center, literally right above the heart, the physical heart. And you can work with jade, emerald, and rose quartz. The interesting thing about the heart center is we traditionally know that the heart is associated with the color pink or red. Energetically, it is associated with the color green, and we want deep, verdant green. But I have found that working with the color pink as well, in addition to, really amplifies the work with the heart. Mm-hmm. For essential oils, you want to work with all varieties of rose. You can work with benzoin. And I also have used frankincense, just like with the crown chakra here as well. Malfunctions or imbalances can be anything having to do with circulation, the heart, breathing, with the lungs.
And just hold that thought. We'll be right back. Stay with us. We'll be back in 2. Renee?
Yes.
Yes. Hold on.
Can you hear me, Kim?
Yeah. So we are running behind.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
September 23rd, September 23rd, September 23rd. Mark that down on your calendar. Put it in your phone. Whatever you do, circle that date. 9 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio. Yes, it is the return of the Joe Show. We will come back live with Season 9. Wow, 9 seasons. I can only think of 4. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Salt, pepper, oregano, and thyme. No. Anyways, we don't have that much time. We're going to be back live September 23rd. Don't forget. 9 p.m. Eastern, here on OMTimes Radio.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hey ladies, do you want to have that good hair day feeling all the time? Gentlemen, would you want your special someone to have that glow, letting you know she's feeling completely satisfied? This feeling and that glow can be yours by embracing your sexual power. So join me, Rachel Kenley, award-winning romance author, on the O Spot. The O Spot will guide you to that peak with guest interviews, book discussions, and conversations on the thrills of sexual empowerment. Put the zing back in your life. Come up and see me sometime on the O Spot, live on Hump Day at 10 p.m. Eastern.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
And welcome back, inspired listeners. My goodness, the time is flying back. As I was just saying to Renee, we're going to try and make it through the chakras so we can get to relationships. So Renee, we left off at the heart chakra, and we're moving down, I would imagine, to the solar plexus.
We are, and actually here we go into the relationship aspect of chakras. Most relationships occur from the heart down, and then there are lots of wonderful higher connections. But this is where we run into both a lot of beauty and a lot of dysfunction and a lot of trouble in relationships. So the third chakra is yellow, and you really, you look for this chakra in the solar plexus. Its element is fire, and you're working with topaz, citrine, and tiger's eye. You can also use the essential oils of bergamot and ginger. Very, very powerful. And this is a center of power for us. The second chakra is orange, and you're working with the elements of water. You can use stones of coral, carnelian, and moonstone. Sometimes moonstone has an orange color. That's the one you want to look for. Essential oils of jasmine and orange are beautiful for this chakra. We get down to the roots, and that is red. And we are looking at the element of earth. And the food types we want to look at here are like the deep, nourishing foods. Also, stones are garnet, hematite, and black tourmaline. Essential oils of vetiver, patchouli, and sandalwood. Any root essential oil. And Kim, what's interesting, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's a lot of different ways in which we can work with each chakra, which is very helpful to learn about.
Yes. And there's an offer that I want to give your listeners as well. I normally do phone consultations on relationships and chakras and also where your chakras are. And I'd like to extend that offer to them of a half hour at half the price that I normally charge. So all they have to do is email me and I'll send them all the details of that. And we can work on their chakras and we can talk about their relationships and really get a lot of healing done.
Oh, that would be great, Renee. Thank you so much for that offer. You we had talked about cords, energy cords. How how are these energy cords the underpinnings of our personal and professional relationships?
Well, each one of the chakras has a cord that is emanating from it, that reaches out towards another person, another living thing, an animal, a crystal, a plant, a tree, anything that has cords of energy and has a chakral system. We reach out with those cords. This happens on a very autonomic and subconscious level. You're not consciously aware of this, although you can consciously direct them. But when one of your cords reaches out to another person, it makes a connection, and now you are connected through that cord of energy. If it's an inappropriate cord connection or a dysfunctional cord connection, it can cause inappropriate relationships and dysfunctional relationships. If it is an appropriate, balanced connection, then you have a very harmonious relationship.
And how would that look? Like if it was inappropriate, what chakras would that be coming from and to? And how would one know if we are courting inappropriately or being courted to inappropriately?
Mm-hmm. Good question. You'll always know because the relationship does not feel good. The relationship feels difficult, hard, challenging, upsetting to you. Whenever I'm upset, and I'm upset either with or, to another person, towards another person, I know that I had better call my energy back really bring my cords back in and then realign them or keep them to myself. Maybe there's a connection that needs to be dissolved between myself and that person. Maybe that needs to end because it can't be healed or harmonized. But sometimes you can, and most often you can heal and harmonize when you're aware of it and you do that work. The most common I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering, how do you know, so the relationship feels difficult. So maybe how would one know where the inappropriate courting was taking place? Or would you just go through a set of exercises that brings everything back into place?
There are several ways to know. Many people work with other practitioners who are able to identify this and evaluate it, and that's wonderful. I also like to empower individuals to find this themselves. And you'll know it by the way each chakra is associated with your physical body. So each chakra has a list of organs associated with it, a list of properties that your physical body is associated with and tied to. So as an example, let's say you had an inappropriate root chakra cording. You now know that you are cording through that person and you're grounding through them. The root chakra cord should only go to the earth and ground to the earth. It only connects to a person when you are in a sexual intimate relationship, and that's temporary. If it remains too long, now you are emotionally grounding through that person. And here's some identifying language. I can't live without them. I'll die if we break up. That's how you know you are corded inappropriately through the root. You'll also have upset stomachs. You'll have anxiety. You'll have emotional fear. You'll have instability issues with that person. That's all dysfunctional root chakra cording.
And what are some practical tools that people can use, both men and women, to bring everything back into harmony, to clear our chakras again to a nice balanced state?
My favorite quick fix, and it doesn't even do the glory of this justice because it's so magnificent, is to bring all of your feelings, all of your emotions, all of your connections up to the heart space. It's simple visualization. I now call all of my connections to, name that person, my heart center. I call everything up to that place. I ask for it to be washed clean, to be harmonized, and to redistribute itself in an appropriate, balanced way.
Wow, it's just as simple as that. And why would you call it to the heart center?
The center is neutral, cleansing, clean, harmonious. It's very difficult to have an imbalanced heart center. You can have a semi-closed, it never closes completely, but you can have the aperture of the chakra for the heart can be diminished and closed off due to trauma, but it will never be fully inaccessible. And the heart has the capability to heal everything. So when you bring that relationship up to the heart space, it acts on a higher level. It acts on a more cosmic, higher vibration. So you can clean and clear all of that through.
Okay, so it's a safe and healthy place to do that.
It is.
Oh, very good.
It is.
We had a question come through from David Grazar in Las Vegas, Nevada. So we're giving David a big shout out. And he wants to know, he says that why do people continually post personal messages about their significant other on public forums like Facebook? And when I read that question, I thought, well, can we cord to social media in some way? Because some people call it
Yes,
addicting.
you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can. And that, again, is an inappropriate cording because you become very dependent. Addiction is all root and sacral and solar plexus issues. Mm-hmm. So it's your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and your solar plexus, which is what happens with social media is because social media came on the scene and became a wonderfully instant way to connect to people, we started courting like mad. We court to hundreds and thousands of people, many more than we ever would have in the past. Mm-hmm. What happens is we become addicted, not only that, but we become safe there. We have a safety about sharing our personal information. That's a third chakra issue. So our sense of power and our sense of empowerment comes through that social media. We feel good about everybody knowing our things, our business, our information. So we are imbalancing our third chakra. We're also diminishing our throat chakra, our fifth chakra, by doing that because we're so overly expressive.
Right. I mean, I think we all have contacts on Facebook that, post 10, 20 messages a day, right?
Yes.
I think that would be called overly expressive.
Overly expressive, absolutely. So it did cause a lot of imbalance. It caused a lot of goodness too, because we are now connected to hundreds of thousands of people, but that's also too much. We're not equipped. We're evolving. We'll evolve to be able to be better at that, but at the moment we're in the evolving stage.
Now, we are running short on time here, so I just want to make sure for our listeners, anybody who would like to further explore this with Renée and take a look at your relationships, please make sure to reach out to her and take advantage of this special offer that she's extending to you. Again, you can find her at backtothegoddess.com. And I just want to just real quickly say, Renée, thank you so much for being on our show today. I hope we'll get through one more question, but if we don't, I want to make sure I give you a proper thank you for sharing your wisdom and your time with us. And I want to remind our listeners to come back next week and tune in on Wednesday as we bring on our next guest, Nurka. We're going to be looking at the power of language and how to use language to bring experiences into our lives that we want. So with that said, now we've got a couple minutes here, Renée. So one of the things that I'm thinking about as we talk about improper courting or unhealthy courting, that in relationships, I would imagine that would happen with ex relationships too, right? Oh,
absolutely.
And we are at the end of our time. See how those exes do it to you all the time, right? Thank you so much.
Yes.
And thank you to all of our listeners. And see you next week.